Yeah, as I was saying, they felt convicted. I guess it's just gonna have to be part two. You know, now they keep implementing little tactics. You know, now all of a sudden my phone keep giving me little hiccups here and there. That's how you know what you're saying is real. You know, and I'm just not with the fraudulency. You know, I'm not. Can't even entertain it. But you know, it's a real irritating matter to be having to sit up here and then you trying to live right for God, but then you have to deal with all these other factors in the process. And then when you look at all these people running these mega churches, people who are all on the news, 10-point coalition programs and all this other nonsense, you know, we might think, oh, well, as long as they're able to do something, that's all that matters. No. Because they understand the real facts, and then they understand the demonic implementation behind the stuff. And how these churches, they have to sign these contracts that state that they can't divulge the true name of the Most High. They can't divulge the true name of Christ. You know, they can't sit up here and talk about the Israelites being the or specifically speaking from the tribe of Judah, the so-called African American blacks. They can't talk about any of these things. You know, anyone discussing any of these things, you're not going to be all on the news. You're not going to be having Lear jets. You know, you're not going to have a congregation overflowing in a mansion-sized style of a church, because they're not going to allow it to happen. Now I know what some people might be thinking. Oh, well, God can bless anybody how he wants, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that's true. But a lot of the wickedness that's going on is going on unseen. Remember, Samael, which is Lucifer, you know, he's never going to come at you in his truest form. He's never going to come at you as one of sheer evil. He's going to come at you in a flattering manner, trying so desperately hard to get you off of your track, to get you off of your path. You know, you can call him Rico Swiggy Suave, because that's what it is, and that's what it does. So we gotta start looking through the veil of deception on a real level. We gotta start understanding what we're up against on a real level. You know, gotta be careful who you're listening to out here. Don't ever, because a person got on the freshest pair of J's, and that's another one. People who strive to get every single pair of Jordan because they know they gotta do that to get the girl. You know what I'm saying? That's why they strive for so much worldly accumulation, because they want to make sure they can get their little jollies off. And that's not from a place of hate, because I care nothing about anything about that. These are the type of people who care so much about what I got going on. People I've been there for. Even when living in sin, people that I've helped them to get certain females so they can get their little jollies off. See, I could be real crude about it and say it in the way in which I would have said it back in sin, but I'm trying my hardest to be respectful here. You know, like I said, there's nothing fake about me at all. I don't have to be fake. So many people, and then you'll have those that act like they going along with what you're saying, and then slowly but surely, the wheels begin to turn, and they trying to steer in the direction of trying to battle you, trying to argue against you. And then you're the only one presenting information for them to go research it themselves, and they never ever want to go research it because they already know you're right. They feel that conviction, and then that's why they always eventually end up steering the conversation onto a subject that has entirely nothing to do with what you're currently discussing. So, you know, and this is why I have recorded all the proof. That's why I have so much evidence on this thing, because this thing goes way high up. You know, I try to make things to where you can't even argue against me if you tried. Because there's no reason to be arguing. And I used to be an argumentative individual because I only speak on things I know for a fact. I've always been like that, even since childhood. I'm not going to ever, and if I don't know something, I'm going to say I don't know. Because there's nothing wrong with not knowing something. Because I love to learn new stuff. And you can learn off anybody. Which brings me back to my original point of these people with these major followings perpetrating like they the Great Gatsby, perpetrating like they contain this high level of ancient knowledge, acting like they supernatural in itself. You know, when they are nothing but a puppet being used for the satanic covens of the world. Because the Most High God, He's going to make what you're doing, He's going to make it shake how it shakes. I'm talking about strip club shakeage. That's the kind of shakeage the Most High spin going to be on it once He lays His demonstration down. Because when you really authentic in that, and you really about that, you really trying to raise the frequency on a real level from a biblical standpoint, the blessings are gonna be there. You don't gotta be sitting up here, oh, I gotta, yeah, you can contact me on XYZ, and I can give you the ancient game on how to get to the level that I'm at. Like, dude, you're not even in Hollywood, dude. You're another content creator, dude. You're just at a different level because you get paid to stalk individuals. That's the only difference. You're working for Satan, dude. He blesses his followers abundantly too. Don't ever forget that. I heard somebody walking up on me. Yeah. That's how people get shot. Yeah, you too. And that's real. Like I said, you can't just be walking up on everybody or trying to be funny. Because at the end of the day, you're a stalker too. And see me, I'm not gonna sit and jib jab. I'm gonna speak my initial piece, and then we gonna act accordingly, because I'm not with it. And I'm about all the smokage. And I ain't talking about that herbal smokage either. I'm talking about that's your derriere postman in the name of self-defense. And then they always got some little, oh, be cool, be smooth. Like, nah, I'm gonna be how I be. Leave people alone. Cause then when that chalk line is in your immediate future, then what good does that do anybody? What good does that do anybody? It doesn't do nobody a bit of good. Everybody loses. Like I said, I'm for real about everything I claim to be about. There is no fraudulency here at all whatsoever. There's no gray areas with me. It's either you on Team Most High or smoking hot glutey region. That's it. And they are trying so desperately hard to get under my skin today, but what they fail to realize is I'm not doing no talking today. We're gonna do the initial blase scoop, and then it's immediate action, because I don't have time. And like I said, I don't have time. You know, I can show my flaws and everything. I can show when I get angry, because I'm human, I'm man. And forgive me, Lord, for my sins, and I mean that. You know, I never in my life ever thought I'd be making videos and doing all this stuff, because that is not what I'm about. I'm a very private individual. But the things of the world that's going on is not getting enough exposure. The true word of God and the true meaning behind everything's not getting enough exposure. No, everybody wanna play James Bond until it's time to be James Bond. Then James Bizzle is out of there. You dig? So yeah, let's keep it where it needs to be at. I'm one of the most peaceful individuals you'll ever come across in the history of existence. But I'm not playing no games. Another stalker. Like I said, I get followed around for real on a real level, but they also they keep it as respectful as they possibly can, because then they always try, because like I said, they ever bring their behinds off up in the woods where there ain't no cameras, I'm gonna tell you what's real. I will defend myself as ferociously as humanly possible. Do not mistake the fact that I'm trying to live for the Most High like that's a sign of weakness. Even Christ turned over the tables and whipped gluteal Maximus off up in there when they was gambling in the Most High's house. Thieves and idolaters, and he wasn't having it, and I'm not either. That's the type of boldness we're supposed to be off up in. You know? And then that's why they said they will never allow there to be another Christ-like figure, another Martin Luther King-like figure, another Malcolm X type figure. But even they wasn't extenuating the knowledge of the Most High in its entirety like that. They weren't. And then the minute they start learning information that they have been protecting, they were X'd out. So, you know, hey. They still ain't gonna mess up my day. Oh, no, no, no to the no, no. Oh, no. I know how to distribute a spanking with a smile and a beverage. Yes, I mean. So, yeah. It's just confirmation. They be so hard and so adamant about trying to devise every little tactic in their little non-factorish arsenals. All for little old you. The one that they've done, like when I went to go buy a car from this car lot one time. But the place I was working at the time was this place called Pooch Patio in Dallas, right? Let me tell you about Pooch Patio. I was working with this girl named Keisha. She's from Louisiana also. It's something about people from Louisiana that I have met. Come across them, they act like they the realest thing since real. She acted like she was black power to the 10th power. You know, that's how she was acting. Acting like she was black power to the 10th power. And then the girl the whole time was setting me up to fail at work. Had me thinking it was co-workers going behind me. See, the Pooch Patio, it's a dog grooming place. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you know, you got to clean the dog kennels, and you got to do everything there is when it comes to the maintenance of animals, dogs. You know what I mean? And it's a dog sitting place also. So one year it snowed real bad and ice on the ground for there. No car and all. I walked all the way to work, and it was me and one other person went ahead and came to work. All the rest of them, vehicles, immaculate rides, and so on and so forth, they wouldn't even come to work. And not even the woman-on-woman carpet muncher manager, not the owner, but the manager lady. She was in on the play too. But like I would clean an area, then here come Keisha. There's a handprint in blood back there where you was just cleaning at, and then even pointed to an individual who she deceived me into believing it was. Well, come to find out, she took her own period blood with her nasty crock pot spell brewing behind. Cause you know, people from there, you know, they be about that witchcraft and that voodoo, that Charles Lee raid into Chucky. A day do we dimbalas. Yet I mean. So yeah, we're gonna call her a day-do-we dimbala. So a day-do-we dimbala sitting up here, gonna stick her hand in her nasty cooch and gonna put a handprint of blood on the wall in the stalls. Grotesque at its finest level of grotesqueness. You know what I mean? So, like I said, fraudulent people. But anyway, so getting to my point, on my next paycheck, I had already set it up with the car lot because I had already went there, did all the paperwork, did everything we needed to do, and I was there for some hours. When I was to come back to finalize everything, and I'd be riding off with the car. That was the whole point of going back. So after I worked the whole shift, I get to the daggone car lot, which was in Arlington. It's like 25 minute ride from Dallas. And the dude that took me was the one that was recording me in my sleep, talking about orbs was flying over my head. I get there, man, I was there literally 8 hours. And then they hit me with the shenanigans. Oh boy, I was PO'd, let me tell you. You talking about an angry individual. And I knew there was some other factors in play. I just didn't know what. But I knew I was dealing with a degree of extra. Because there has been people ride off that lot for no money down. Me, I had money down in the whole daggone nine to alleviate any funny business. Couldn't figure out what it was. Well, come to find out, it was all due to the little stalking stuff going on. Those of us who are on this different level of it, that's what they do. They try to keep you without a vehicle. They try to keep you without certain things and implement all the factors that they can concoct en route to trying to neutralize. All because of your love in Christ. You know. And I'm not even about to finish talking about, Keisha. Because that girl right there. See, anytime they hired men on, come to find out, it was all so she could rest and relax a little bit without taking a formal vacation so she could get paid in the process. Because I was noticing how they would hire men sporadically and then fire them so quickly. Me, they couldn't do that with because I'm a good worker and all that. But what Keisha was noticing, and it was all in her conversation, she couldn't stand by and allow somebody to outshine her at a place that she's been at for quite some time. But she's nothing more than a glorified dog for them. You know, little does she know. But that's nor here nor there. But anywho. But that's what she did. Miss Black Power to the 10th power. Crockpot brewing up spells. All day do we dimbala. Charles Lee Ray. Chucky. You did. That's all it was. Which brings me to my next point, or a few points. They know you're gonna outshine them because of what's in you. You can hardly even be given an effort, but your minimized level of effort will exceed them at an optimized level any day of the week. And they fear that. Because they know if you had the same substantial amount of things that they do, they know good and well they can't touch you now. But especially if you had all the extra additives, they'd be out of there all the way, and they know that, and they fear that. That's why, you know, there's these people with these mega followings and mega churches. You don't reach that level being on this true path, on a real true path. Now, I'm not saying you won't have no success. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about an overabundance of worldly success. And I do mean overabundance. That's why they do it, because if you wasn't a factor like that, in a manner of which they attempt to downplay, but then they don't even really downplay it. They don't confirm nor deny, because what's understood don't need explanation. And they know that. And like I said, if you really wasn't a factor in the overall grand scheme of things, they wouldn't have to try so hard. They've literally tried everything. And then they just keep going back through the list, back through the list, back through the list. Because there's no creativity. You know? They know you're creative, and they know you're trained, and they know you know how to do things that in their mind they think you shouldn't even know how to do or accomplish. And that's the differential. I don't have to pretend to be anything I'm not. I'm just me. And if you don't like it, tough luck. Do something about it. Oh, that's right. They've been trying to. That's right. I almost forgot. Failures. Get on code with the Most High. Turn away from y'all wicked ways. Because failure to do so, I'm trying to told you, it gets hot in Glutieville on the Rizal. Glutieville gets smoking hot. Yeah, that's all they'll do. All people in this city that I'm in right now, all they do is talk about how there's never anybody out and about ever, how it's a ghost town, yada I mean. Every time I step out, it's an overflowing abundance of people riding by. Then it be ice on the ground. Then you got some joker riding by on a 10-speed bicycle with no gloves on. You know good and well they stalking, because nobody does that. Not here. So everybody who's out and about, they are specifically out and about to follow your boy around. If it wasn't like that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And I'm just keeping it all the way honest. This conversation wouldn't be taking place. And when I get to that point, I'm gonna start interviewing people sporadically, so you're not just getting my narrative. I'm about the truth in its purest form, no matter how hard of a pill it may be to swallow. Even this girl I grew up with, I really thought I would have put my life on it, that she was a real one. Then come to find out she was in on this too, all the way back to when I was in high school and I would jog early mornings. They knew about my workout routine and everything, you know what I mean? Like, she even had one of my black belt certificates in her possession. Because at the time when I gave it to her, I never thought I'd see her again. Then enters 00 agent, wannabe wife, whatever all that was. Another one. but me and her, we was never together or anything like that. Never even messed around. We kissed one time, but you know. Now her sister, but see, all this was eons ago when I had no idea about any of this stuff that was taking place. Then I get down to Dallas because, you know, when I went there, it's just a lot. I'm gonna have to do a whole nother video on that. But it all goes back to fraudulency. Watch who you're around, because you can't trust nobody. Because they be looking for any tiny reason to try to, you know, have a legitimized reason to do evil unto you. All while being scared in the process. And see, like I said, and then the ones that ride by and they smile, and not in like a nice smile way, but like a mischievous manner. You know, they'll do that like that's doing something. I don't care about none of that. Because I know if I catch you at a light or walk up to your vehicle, you gonna whip it all the way into shape real fast, because they always do and have. I know I be sounding like I'm just hardcore business out here in the streets, and it ain't even like that. I'm not having it. All I'm doing is I'm trying to live for the Most High, and I'm not gonna let nobody disrupt that. And I'm not gonna let nobody make me feel some type of way behind it also. See, all you gotta do is walk in their direction. They gonna whip it into shape real quick. Cause he ain't got no reason to be there. He come from way down the street, stalking, trying to rev his engine like his little noise is gonna disrupt my message or something. You know. And then if you break something on their body, then they'll be screaming it's an outrage when they out here messing with people. And see, and then he goes back the other way. See, I don't have to make up anything. You know, I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna do it peacefully. Anybody disrupt that, I'm gonna put you where your ass needs to be at. Plain as day. Because I'm not having it. I know who I am. I'm comfortable. I'm completely comfortable in who I am. And I'm not changing anything unless it's something for the better. It'll never be something according to somebody else's minimized level of standards. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way it is. You gotta rebuke those devils. You gotta rebuke Samael. You gotta know the name of the Most High God, Ahia. You gotta know that. Christ's name is Yeshua. You gotta know that. You gotta be bold in that. Can't be out here being afraid. Where's that gonna get you? You got it. Smoking hot glute region. Rectum recting extraordinariuses. Yeah. They be so busy trying to, and you know, and I don't do this for me. I do this for the people that they have caused trauma for and all of that. because I'm not doing the stalking or people pretending. There's another one right here. Another one. I wonder what he'd do if I walk down there. All praises be to the Most High. And you still gotta bless all these stalkers too. These hidden enemies of the Most High. They ain't even got the gonads. You feel me? They ain't even got the gonads to do it in a real way. You got an issue with somebody, bring it to the doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Don't be over in the shadows spying, acting like you fa la 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 la, living this so-called Merry Christmas spirit, but you're out here being evil. Then when things go very left field for you, then y'all be screaming outrage and punishment must fit and all this other stuff. Well, what about the punishment? Because this is federal level of crimes these people are committing. This is a federal level of crime. Why are they being allowed to just execute federal level of crime? You better ask yourselves that. I know what it is. Or like that trend genius guy who I compare to maggot dung. It is what it is. Because I'm not going to allow him to sit up here and slander and misrepresent the kingdom of the Most High. I'm not going to let that happen. You're not going to make a mockery of the Lord's kingdom. I'm not going to allow it. I'll be a dung storm in your worst dreams. Y'all have a magnificent day. Let me go in here, see if I have to defend myself against these unrighteous perpetrators. Fa la 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 la. God bless y'all.